Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of our GA4 Enablement series, where we aim to conquer this shiny new platform. Today we'll be going through conversions and understanding how they work in GA4. GA4 conversions are similar to goals in UA in that they are user-defined actions you think are important and want to pay special attention to. By default, all purchase events are automatically considered conversions. However, any other sort of event needs to be manually marked as a conversion. To do this, go to Admin in the bottom left corner and click on Events. Here you'll see a full list of all the events that have been received by your GA4 property. There are toggles against each event that tell you whether or not that event has been marked as a conversion. A purchase will always be considered a conversion. You can see here that I can't turn this on and off. The toggle is grayed out. If I wanted to mark any of these other events as conversions, I would simply click the toggle to on. You have a limit of 30 conversions per GA4 property. It's important to note that conversion data isn't retroactive. So even though I do have the data for the page view event here that I've just marked as a conversion, it would only start being counted as a conversion from the time that I toggle it on here. In addition to that, GA4 is going to count every time that a conversion event is triggered as a conversion. That is, if I made a purchase 5 times in a session, that counts as 5 conversions. There might be some conversion events that you only want to count once per session. If this is the case, you will need to change the counting method used. To do this, go to Admin, Conversions. This brings up a list of all the events that you have marked as conversions. If you click on the 3 dots next to the conversion you want to change, you'll see the option to change the counting method. Click on that and it will bring up the option to count a conversion only once per session. You might want to use this if you have an event that could be triggered multiple times per session, but is only important to you the first time. For example, if a user subscribes to your newsletter. Now, it's important to note that when you start adding in additional conversion events, that this affects the calculation of all conversion metrics across GA4. Let's move to a use case to help us demonstrate this. Your business has noticed that conversion count and conversion rate in GA4 are extremely different to what they're seeing in their e-commerce backend. They know that some discrepancies are expected, but they're seeing extreme differences to the point of a 40,000% increase. So for example, here in the GA4 demo property, we can see that they have marked a lot of different events as conversions. So when we take a look at one of the standard reports such as traffic acquisition, they have quite a high conversion count. Now I can't customize this report to show you conversion count because this is the demo account, but you can see here also that their engagement rate also is extremely high. And that's because engagement rate takes into account whether a user triggered a conversion event within their session. So we would recommend that you be very prudent with marking additional events as conversions. Keep it simple with purchase if you have an e-commerce business, or something like submit form if you're a lead gen business, at least until you're more familiar with the platform. Remember that you don't need to mark an event as a conversion in order to see the event count against other dimensions such as channel. You can simply filter using the drop-down under all events. So like I said, it's important to remember that conversion metrics include any events you have marked as conversions, not just purchase. So the reason that I want to call special attention to this is because in Universal Analytics, we had a metric called e-commerce conversion rate. This was specifically for purchases. Any other event needed to be set up as a goal and was tracked using goal conversion rate. This meant that it was easy to distinguish between the two. Here in GA4, we only have a generic conversion rate that covers any event you have marked as a conversion. Like we saw in the GA4 demo property, those other events can start to dwarf your purchases. Given the naming, it would be very easy to think that conversion rate is only tracking purchases, and that you should be using this figure in the same way that you used e-commerce conversion rate. So if you're seeing an unusual number of conversions or strange conversion rates, remember to check which events have been marked as conversions, either in the admin settings or using the drop-down in a standard report. To finish up, keep in mind that you can only import conversions into Google Ads if your GA4 property and the Google Ads account are linked. You can check whether that's the case by going to Admin and then Google Ads links. If they're not linked, you can simply click here and link them if you have access to both the GA4 and Google Ads accounts that you want to connect. So here are our key takeouts. Conversion data is not retroactive. Be prudent in which events you mark as conversions. Conversion metrics are calculated across all conversions, not just purchases. And Google Ads needs to be linked to GA4 in order to import conversions across. I hope you found that video useful, and we'll see you in our next episode.